Oh, Rainer. 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 Rainer.
What if Rainer was severed?
Rainer severed. Rainer severed. Rainer severed. Good evening and welcome back to Cosmic Complexity. I'm Grayson and this is my co-host,
Trent Messer.
This is a podcast where we try to understand the ever-expanding universe, and today we're going to be talking about Severance and a very interesting hypothetical that is brought up through the show, and we wanted to talk about it. So before we get into that, we're going to do the comment of the week. Just a friendly reminder, leave a comment down below and you may be read in the next episode of Cosmic Complexity, and there are no comments usually, so you have a higher chance. But with that, Trent, what's the comment of the week?
So this week, we get a comment from Brittany4093, at Brittany4093. She said, "The cat with his cone," laughing emoji. Great video.
Thanks, Brittany.
Yeah. I think in that video, one of your cats must have had a cone on, and she thought it was funny.
All right, well
so Severance.
So let's get into it. So
I mean, we're gonna try to do it without spoilers, right? I don't think that this is a spoiler.
Okay, we'll do a spoiler warning before we move into anything. But to put it simply, in the second season of the brand new hit TV show Severance on Apple TV, it's a great show if you haven't watched it. But in this show, you have two different personalities to an extent. Basically, there is a procedure you can go through where it severs two parts of your lives. So one of you is working, and then the other one of you is just you. And so there's this person who works their entire life. They wake up, they're in an office, and that's like just their whole life. They don't have breaks, they don't have vacations. They wake up, they're doing their work, they go home, and it's the next day.
Yeah, and then like when they come back to the office, it's like they just go to sleep and they wake up and they're back in the office, but they feel rested and relaxed and fed. Yeah, but they had just been in the office, like from their perspective, they just been in the office the entire time.
But they also don't remember anything about their outie's life, which is like the person outside of work. So they're an innie and their outie is just you. Yeah. So if I got severed and I was living my life as now, then there was the one inside, my innie. They don't know what's going on. They don't have the memories. Yeah. They know their name just because that's what they're called, but they don't know where they're from, how they got to where they are. They know nothing.
They don't even know like basic facts about the world. Like, I mean, they know like how to communicate and like how to like foundational just like skills that everybody has, but they don't know like about any politics, any history, like nothing.
They know a little bit about Kiev, or was it Kier?
Kier, yeah.
Kier.
They're like, well, yeah, they get one like, well, it's essentially a employee manual, employee handbook, and it's
like their Bible,
almost
basically.
like their Bible, because they quote it like, you might quote a Bible verse.
Right. So in the show, there are two characters, and the two characters are gay, and they were gay, but they were also a part of a church, and they wanted to have a relationship that was gay, but because they went to church, they knew that it was like a sin. And so they had a pastor in this show who told them that their innie, their other severed half, was its own separate soul, or is it spirit? It was its own separate spirit.
Yeah, soul, spirit.
And that inside innie wouldn't be able to make its own choices and go to heaven or go to hell. Was kind of like a hypothetical that was introduced a few episodes into the second season.
Yeah.
Which both me and Trent kind of took a pause and we're like, that's a really interesting concept, and that's what we're talking about today. So before we get into it though, I think we will talk about the show a little bit here towards the end, and we'll kind of get into spoilers, and I think we're in the second to last episode, or no, the episode.
Yeah, I think like we're on the last episode.
Yeah, the next episode coming out for us is the last episode.
Yeah.
We've caught up to all of it. But it's a really, really confusing kind of topic, just because the idea that you sever yourself and that person acts like you and is you,
yeah,
but they also are like not you at the same time. I guess we'll start kind of breaking apart the idea in the first place. Do you think, we'll start off with this, do you think in any version of yourself in a hypothetical situation would be you, or do you think it's a separate person?
I mean, I think it'd probably be the same as the show. I think it's you to an extent. In that it has the same personality as you, same. Probably I would say probably even like likes and dislikes when it comes to certain things. But I feel like as the outie and the innie live their lives, the longer the longer they both live their lives, the more they diverge in their how similar their character traits are. Yeah, and because I think that, like, if the innie his entire life is just that, then obviously that would affect his personality and like his character traits and like how he views things. So I feel like the longer you work at Lumen, I think that the personalities of the two, the outie and the innie, would start to diverge. So
yeah, I feel like the innie is you, because it's your body, it's your personality. You just can't remember it. Like I don't think they portray it in the show as like there's two different people. It's not the same person.
Yeah.
But I would argue it is the same person. It's just one, they just don't remember each other. Like, one of them, the only difference is that he doesn't remember where he came from or how he got there, or like who his family is.
Yeah.
But it's still the same person. He just doesn't have memory.
Yeah.
Because that's like arguing that someone with Alzheimer's isn't the same person because they can't remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is that a severed person? Is the person with Alzheimer's?
No.
Alzheimer's is the real Severance.
Yeah, that's real life Severance. No, but I mean, I don't know anything about Alzheimer's, but I'm sure
dementia.
I'm sure there are some cases where that person has a completely different sort of personality whenever they, like, you can tell whenever they're they seem normal and like they're being themselves, and you can tell whenever they're sort of not remembering things. And I could imagine that you would have two different personalities potentially with something like Alzheimer's or dementia.
I think dementia in particular is pretty common to have a different personality come out. Yeah. Like, it's a more aggressive or like a more childlike aspect to it. And a lot of it is just kind of the lack of memory. But that they still have a personality to an extent.
Yeah.
And they're still that person. Right. And a lot of, especially like biblically, and kind of the same concept of people who have Alzheimer's or dementia is like, are they saved? Is their spirit trapped inside of this body that can't remember anything?
Right.
And are the choices that they make their own choices?
What's up, Ranger?
Ranger Effort.
Say, Ranger?
She's really into checking us out. She's really just hanging out with us. She's Ranger's my cat. She's on the screen right now. If you're listening to audio alone, Ranger is.
You should check the screen real quick to see Ranger.
Rainer.
Who's about to knock the TV over.
Yeah, she's just about to damage our whole property. But that is something that a lot of people really struggle with, especially pastors, of understanding the concept.
Like the idea of the age of accountability as well. Like, little kids who die before they can like understand and accept the gospel. Are they held accountable for their sin, or does God have like a special grace and mercy on them because they weren't able to understand like
right.
their sin in the gospel, you know.
So that's kind of where we're playing into this, which this isn't a us trying to convince, like, dementia, Alzheimer's, the age of accountability. All of those are really interesting subjects, but they're not at the point of this episode.
Yeah.
You know, it's more so just something to take into consideration, because in this certain hypothetical of a severed person going to heaven or not going to heaven,
mm-hmm.
it's like, what are we working with here? If they're using the Christian faith as an example in the show, like, okay, is this actually something that could like hold ground in our current time? Which, you know, maybe you could always say, like in the TV show, Christians are different. You know, like the world seems to be different in Severance. It doesn't seem to be
it's
our
a different
world
entirely.
But there's still it's just an interesting kind of subject.
Yeah.
I think going back to the dementia and the Alzheimer's side of it, I think like if we would consider them still saved, even if they change the way they're acting or talking or treating people after they hit a certain point, I don't think that the person who has Alzheimer's or dementia should be held accountable just because they don't have control of it anymore.
Yeah.
It's not they're not capable of making decisions like they were in the past. They're not capable of living like they would in the past. In the same way an infant child wouldn't be able to. You know, it's just a kid. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how to speak. Like,
I think that like they don't understand fully what's going on, so therefore they're not responsible for they're not accountable for, you know, wrongs they might do.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think that, you know, if you're raising a kid and he does something that's wrong, even if it is, you know, he maybe can't understand fully between right and wrong yet, you should still start to correct him, start to be like, hey, you know, like, we don't do that. And I think it's the same way with somebody with Alzheimer's, like, hey, you know, don't do that. That's not good. Even if they won't remember it, you know.
Don't say the N-word, Betty.
Betty,
say it.
Don't say the N-word.
Betty, that's not a word. You should, Betty, you can't say that.
She's just faking it the whole time.
She never had Alzheimer's. She just wanted to say it.
Yeah.
Oh, Betty, you little maniac, Betty. I go back and forth. I think a severed person is the same as someone who has Alzheimer's or has dementia. Like, it's like, it's a medical separation of your memories.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, which natural is dementia and Alzheimer's, but it's very, it's something that we can have grounds of understanding to an extent, where it's like, okay, this can happen to people. So that's all that we have realistically to use as an example and understand the grounds of how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think that, yeah, man, I guess we can just go and get right into this. Like, is it, so, I mean, the question of this episode is, does a severed person, like, is there any accountable for, the any salvation, and the outies accountable for the outie salvation?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Are they two separate?
Yeah, two separate souls, spirits. I don't think so. I
wouldn't think so either. I think it's.
I mean, it's like for that. Okay, so for the outie, like, you know, let's say that they've, you know, professed Christ and have accepted salvation and you know, God's grace.
Bird.
And
bird. Irving. Hey. Christ. I love God. My name is Bird.
Anyways.
Irving.
So the any, I think because they wouldn't even really have, I mean, okay, in the Severance world, all they know is like their office, basically. Right. So like they wouldn't even have any comprehension of they wouldn't have any comprehension.
They don't have any comprehensions or outie.
Yeah, the outie has outie comprehensions, but the any
it's so confusing. Anyone who hasn't seen Severance is gonna be listening to this episode and be like, "What are they talking about?
What are they talking about?" Yeah. Just hang with us.
Hang
with me now.
Watch the show and then come back and watch this episode. It'll make more sense.
Anyways, what was I saying? Dang it, dude. I didn't even think. I wasn't thinking about it.
I just derailed your train. I'm sorry.
Dude. My train like flew off a cliff, dude. It's gone. I'm gonna have to get a new train.
It's a hit movie, Super 8.
I've never seen that movie.
It's not great.
It's not great.
Super 8, not great. This is stupid.
Anyways.
The
innies ways.
You were going on about Bird.
No, you were going on about Bird. Bird. Irving.
Bird.
Irving.
Irving.
Oh,
Irving. Bird.
Maybe I can get the train back on the tracks.
Let me take him.
Take the rails.
So Bert, one of the characters, and his husband in the outie world. I think they're husband. Maybe they're not. I think they might just be like roommates. But they're both Christians, and they decided that after their pastor told them that a innie spirit is separate from the outie spirit.
Yeah.
They sent Bert's into the Lumen office and severed him in hopes that his severed half would find love in Lumen, which he did with Irving. Bert. My name is Bert. Irving.
Hey, Irving. I like the paint. I make some paintings.
The skull. Paint.
Irving,
I love you.
I love you, Irving.
I like you.
I'm going to spend an hour combing my hair before I see you.
I held your hand.
I hope that didn't make you uncomfortable.
I was...
They're going to be so confused.
I was scared. Yeah, basically that's the whole
plot of their
love.
Love, pretty much. Yeah.
We just put it all in one little bubble.
Yeah, that's a summary of it. Irving. Oh, you're holding my hand, Irving.
So basically, that is their reasoning. Is like they're like, we can't be gay here because we're Christians, but in there they don't know what Christianity is, and so
is that what it was?
Yeah,
because I thought it was like they thought that the innie was somehow going to find salvation because he wouldn't be saved if...
No, I think it was backwards.
So they were basically saying that, well, yeah, huh.
But then Irving showed up, and it was very clear that he definitely did find love inside, and he was love outside. So he's like, well, I guess both of my spirits are going to hell now. As a Christian, they believe that. So that's what they thought.
Yeah.
Which, that's like a really interesting kind of perspective on it. It's like, I'm doing this to save, which, I mean, maybe I do have it backwards, but either way, it's still the kind of same concept of like, one of us is going to take the bullet and the other one isn't. And I'm okay with it because it's like my spirit split in two.
Yeah. Still me.
But again, I'm not sure if that's the case.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
And a lot of the reason behind that is because how can that severed person even understand God or comprehend God in this hypothetical?
Yeah.
When they don't know what the world is, they don't know what created them, they don't know how they got to this point. All they know is that there's an office with lights, desks, and their work.
Now, this is probably what you're going to get into here in a minute, but do they? I mean, do they have knowledge of God even though they're severed and all they know is their entire existence is just an office?
They do say, oh my God, sometimes.
Yeah. I mean,
they say fuck, shit, bitch, dick. They say all that.
Yeah.
But that's just like naturally, like they just know how to speak English.
Right. But would they understand that, yes, there is a creator and something had to create us,
I don't know if they would. I think it would go more into Keir, and that's like kind of like Irving almost worshipped Keir.
Yeah,
like he had almost a weird like cultish connection and like all goodness and all greatness to Keir or whatever. He really like had a weird like love and fixation on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if they had any somewhat of an understanding of a creator or like a greater being, it would be Kier.
Yeah.
Which would make sense because technically Kier did create their severed halves.
Yeah.
Because it would be the procedure which made them who they are. And they believe that when they become unsevered or they retire, that's like their death.
Yeah.
They think that's it. That's how I die. So for a severed person, their beginning and end is through Kier.
Yeah.
So their creator
in
is
that
Kier.
sense, yeah. That's a good point.
You know?
Now,
so do they have any other comprehension? Are they capable of it?
I think so.
Because they're almost childish. Like all of them are almost childish in a sense of like their inability to understand the world.
Yeah.
Or like basic things.
So yeah, I think that simply because the Bible does say that God has plainly revealed himself to everybody, I think even in Innie's case, I think that they would be able to understand and like written on their hearts, they would know that there is a creator, and two, that there are certain things that are right and wrong. You know what I mean?
But is their environment natural? Like, is their environment? Their whole environment is man-made.
Yeah, but
they don't know what the sky looks like. They don't know what weather is. They don't know how the air got there. It's walls, desks.
I think creation itself is only one aspect of God revealing himself. Like, I think God personally reveals himself to everybody. God, the Bible says that God wrote his laws in our hearts, and that we all have morals, and even the innies have morals, and they know that certain things are right and wrong. So I think that for that reason, that alone is enough evidence for God. But now that's not to say I still hold to the fact that the Audi is not responsible for what the innie does. You know what I mean? And and they're not two separate souls. I think that this isn't the way the show is portraying it, but I think that the severed person is like a sub person of the Audi. You know what I mean? So if the Audi professes faith in Christ, then the severed person is essentially the Audi, but the Audi doesn't have control over his body, and so he's not accountable for what he doesn't have control over. You know what I mean?
But he is in control of his body.
Well, no, it's
just he doesn't remember it.
It's a different person,
But is it a different person?
Yes.
It's just the only difference is that one doesn't remember the other. It's not he doesn't remember who he is or what he believes. He just doesn't have the memories. But
he's in a state of he doesn't understand reality, and he doesn't understand which I guess maybe that's a contradiction of what I just said earlier. So I don't know.
Because take Mark for example. Before what's her name, Helly showed up, he was very cut and dry. I'm here to work. I get the work done, and then that's it. Yeah. But especially in season 2, as this show progressed, Mark's innie has started to show a lot of his personality that his Audi has. It's just they don't remember everything exactly.
Yeah.
Especially watching how they both interact with people and their intentions and their intuition and who they like, who they don't like, why they don't like those people. I think it's really clear, and it's starting to show an indication that the innie and the Audi, they just don't remember different things. Or take Dylan G, who his Audi is kind of a piece of shit, and his innie is super sweet and loving.
A genuine guy, yeah.
And it's those are two different personalities, but they're the same person. And the only difference is making them change is Dylan G's Audi remembers things a little differently, and he has different experiences. And then the innie Dylan G has little to no experiences.
Yeah.
He only remembers the little bits and pieces that he has now.
Yeah.
Because if it was two different spirits that were merging together, then I feel like the procedure that they go through that makes you unsevered would be very different. Because it doesn't seem like the doctor is trying to put together.
Yeah.
It feels like she's trying to piece together the memories.
Yeah.
And your brain is just comprehending all of your memories flooding back.
Right.
Not a spirit entering you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a memory thing. It's not a spirit thing. So as
yeah, but should the Audi be held accountable for what the innie does? Yeah, sure, it's the same person, and the same way a person with dementia or Alzheimer's, it's the same person, right? Like same personalities.
Yeah, but the person with dementia and Alzheimer's isn't held accountable.
Yeah.
So I would say no. I say the innie's actions they take are not to be held accountable.
Yeah.
So I guess the pastor would be right then, because if the innie was having, gay relationships, and that was against the Bible in this hypothetical world, which we don't know if the Bible's any different in that world.
Mm-hmm.
But if it obviously has to been seen as a sin, because they saw it as a sin in the conversation they had, and if the person's innie isn't held accountable, then I guess they were onto something.
No. I will say.
I feel like this is just me and you on a hot mic crumbling apart. Yeah. Our brains just trying to comprehend this.
Yeah. But, okay, all right. Here's the thing. What if you really wanted to, murder somebody?
Okay.
But you didn't want to be held accountable for that sin, Like, you didn't want to actually do it. So you say, okay, I'm going to hire a hitman and say, don't tell me where or when you're doing it. Don't even give me confirmation that you've done it. I'm just gonna pay you, and all I need to know is that person's dead. That's kind of like you're trying to make a loophole. You're trying to get around it. But I would say that you murdered that person. You're the one that, and also the hitman also murdered that person. But you're the one that. So for the severed person, it's like. If that's a sin, then they're trying to find a loophole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. Yeah.
So their heart isn't in the right place, but that's a different issue entirely. You know what I mean?
Bert's intention with getting severed was to go and break that loophole.
Yeah,
and use that and take advantage of that.
Yeah,
which would make his choice wrong and sinful.
Yeah,
but if naturally Bert just severed innie, just happened to have that, then it wouldn't be his fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think that if your intentions were not skewed when you initially got severed, then yeah, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
But in Bert's case, I think that they were right, that you wouldn't be held accountable. But because they had intentions to take advantage of that, then they are held accountable as an Audi.
Yeah. It is a heart issue.
So the Audi is held accountable because they're taking advantage of the severed procedure.
Yeah.
But the innie is not held accountable for what it did.
Yeah. I think so. But, I mean, this is... Who knows if this could ever actually happen?
It would never happen, no. But so...
Well, I don't know. Let's say that this actually did happen. Let's say that severance was real, and, you could get a chip in your brain that would separate part of your brain for, an Audi and an innie, right?
Huh.
If it was real, we probably wouldn't view it as, two different people. We'd probably view it as, a memory thing. Oh, yeah, I just don't remember going to work.
Yeah.
And the person on the inside just doesn't remember anything outside.
Yeah.
It's still me, right?
Right.
They just don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the innie wouldn't have any... I got back on the track, man. And this is where I got off, right? So don't say anything.
I'm not saying anything.
The innie wouldn't have any
You're never gonna be able to finish that train, dude. You say Eddie, and then it's gone.
Somebody dropped a stick of dynamite on the track, and the track is just gone. I don't even know.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
What was I saying? For the innie, there isn't any. What? I forgot what I was saying.
My God.
Dude, I forgot, man.
Twice now.
I forgot.
For an innie, there isn't any.
For the innie, there wouldn't be. Dude, I don't know. I lost it, man. I lost it.
Accountability.
Yeah, we've already said that. It was a different
verbiage, usage, wordage.
Yeah, it was a different. It was trying to build this tower another level higher, and I can't, man. I got a brain block.
Wow.
I think I might be severed.
I think.
Console with my innie real quick.
Hey, buddy. Hey,
where am I?
We're doing. What was the procedure?
What's going on?
What's the procedure?
Where am I? What's going on? What's my name? What is the name?
OTJ hours.
What does that even mean?
This is a specific procedure, Trent.
Why am I talking to this bike? What's going on?
Hey, Trent. So you're on a podcast.
What is a podcast?
Your Audi signed you up for this.
What?
And you're the Andy. Let me ask you something.
My Audi? What?
Are you gay?
What is gay? What does that even mean?
Have you held a man's hand? Essentially.
What is a man? How do
you kissed a man's lips?
I don't know, man. I don't know what.
No judgment.
I don't know what any of that means, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, so no. I'll take that as a no. Have you touched a woman's boobs? Have you committed sexual intercourse?
What is a boob?
Have you had sex under a tent?
Reference.
Have you had sex twice? How did you do it?
What?
How did you know how to do it?
What are you talking about, dude?
How did you know where to put it in?
Hold on.
Did you put it in the right way or the wrong way?
Anyway, all right. What happened there?
I was really starting to crack him, but you woke up.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, did he help you?
How did Mark
did he help you with
quick little spoiler. Mark has sex with Helly. Twice. One with her Audi and one with her idiot. Let me ask you this. How did he know where to put it?
Yeah. See, and that means that they obviously have some knowledge of or I mean, is that just so deeply embedded in humans, that
no,
we just know you just know how to do it.
You don't. Your first time you do not know how to do it.
Well, yeah, but the basic concept of it.
Even that, you could watch, porn is basically studying for it, and you can still fail that test.
Yeah.
You can study thousands of hours.
Yeah.
And still fail that test.
Yeah.
You can do a practice run.
I mean, dude, Mark didn't even know what was going on. It seemed like he passed, so.
Yeah, he passed, which the first time for
maybe
Mark, I think
for
he got
innies,
lucky.
you just need to act like they just don't know anything, and that's the best way.
You think innies would just get a boner randomly, and they would just be like, what is this? Why am I...
So, okay. So you're saying that innies are just 12-year-old boys? Just revert back to puberty?
I mean, I'm sorry, I farted. It was bad. I think, yeah. I mean, think about it.
You may want to turn the podcast off if you don't want to smell this.
What was her name?
Ellie?
The gray-haired...
Oh, Miss Cobell?
Miss Cobell would get frustrated with Mark. She was like, you're so childish. You don't understand.
Yeah.
So I would say, yeah, they are just...
Revert you back to a childlike...
Yeah, state, because they just don't know. Children are ignorant. So yeah, you're just, it's like grown adults.
Going through puberty.
Which, okay, their hormones aren't as active.
Yeah.
There would be times in middle school where I would just be walking around and then just randomly get a hard on and it'd be like, all right.
Yeah. You got to own it. Or you're...
I'd be like...
you never experienced this, but, during the class presentation.
No,
standing there in front of everybody.
I think the worst would be in church. They'd be stand and rise to worship, and then I would just be hard. And I was like, I don't know why.
What's going on?
I'm not hard for the Lord, but
I don't have any words. I don't have words.
That's such a hard...
I don't have any words, dude.
It's true. It happened multiple times. And I was like, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
You gotta do the good old...
The tuck.
Pants tuck. Yeah,
yep.
You gotta...
Foolproof.
Foolproof pant tuck. But like, what do they do? How do they handle it?
Yeah, I mean, they would have to have like some like down there. They like how you have Miss Cobell, you have Miss Cobell, and you have Mr.
You know what I would do?
Mr. Milchick. They have to have somebody that like gives them the birds and the bees talk. No, like
they don't.
Well,
There's
but
no
then
way.
you have a bunch of people walking around with boners and not knowing what's going on. They gotta do something.
I mean, like the goats were being procreated. You know, so like I'm sure the goat people probably know what's going on. They probably get freaky. Those goat people.
Yeah, they probably did. Honestly,
they seemed like they would be.
Yeah.
I
still don't understand what the goat thing is all about.
When you think about it, okay, think about it on a woman's perspective. The woman just got on her period in the middle of being severed.
So they have to know something.
What steps would be taken?
Yeah.
Would they be like, why am I bleeding?
Yeah. Am I dying?
It's just because I knew, like, Helly knew that Mark's nose bleeding was bad.
Yeah.
Which, that's something.
Like
that's an indication.
That's why I think they still have an understanding of, like,
basic.
Yeah.
Anatomy.
Not because it's, like, an embedded thing, but just because, like.
I mean, if you see blood naturally, you're like,
yeah,
something's off.
In pain, like, if you feel pain, that's your body is telling you that,
And if you get hard, it's your body telling you to,
Yeah. Procreate.
But still, how would they know how to do it? You think it's muscle memory?
Yeah, it gotta be muscle memory. So, like, if you're a virgin on the outside, if your Audi's a virgin, then you're, like, the innie is just, like, clueless. They don't even know anything. They don't even have muscle memory.
What if your innie was like a player?
And
your Audi was just a virgin, and just believed he was a virgin?
That would be pretty funny.
He'd get out and be like, why my dick hurt?
Why is it
Why is it drained?
Why is it hard to pee?
Why does it burn when I pee?
Man, we got off topic.
I'm trying to think of what else just didn't make sense to me. There was one person who gets severed, and the whole purpose of the cabin is that's like you give birth. So they would have the whole pregnancy, and then when it came to birthing time, this person would just give birth, and then they would never see the baby again. That would suck. But also,
that was
how
crazy.
do they know? I mean, I guess naturally, you just pop it out, scream a few times. It's easy, really. It's not easy. That's a joke.
No,
I was joking.
hey,
I was joking.
Let's take a minute to just acknowledge that was a joke.
Moment of silence for pregnant women out there. God bless you.
Yeah. See, I feel like animals know how to do that, and like they know how to just just pop it out.
Yeah.
So
I guess so. And animals know how to pop it in.
Exactly.
So what have we established so far?
We don't agree that it's two separate souls. Like, it's one soul.
We think it's one soul. It's just memories.
Yeah, it's just memories. The Audi is not accountable for what the innie does. And the innie isn't in any way.
Come on.
I lost it.
You still don't have it.
No, it's gone. Yeah. So, which means that. Okay, but what happens? Okay, so when a person like dies, what happens to the innie's subconscious? You know what I mean?
Nothing.
Like, does it just and let's say they go to heaven, right? Like, does the innie get to experience heaven or just the Audi?
I think the innie experiences it because the innie is the Audi.
Yeah.
And when the Audi dies, it's just like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like the innie will never, in any instance, experience death.
In any instance?
Yes. Any instance.
Experience. Yeah, because, unless they die.
Their version of death is just leaving the office.
But dude,
so really, they die.
Imagine how
every
terrifying that would be for them to like actually die, like not just leave the office,
Oh God.
just like straight up die, and they don't have any idea what's going on. You
I
know?
don't know if that'd be terrifying or
do you
relieving.
Do you think if they died, do you think that at the moment of death, the Audi sort of like regains awareness and is like right before they die?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
You think like the chip is that strong that
Yeah.
even through death, like, because you'd think that there'd be some sort of like subconscious survival instinct that would override things that, like, you know what I mean?
Well, like when Helly,
Like some sort of fight or flight thing.
when Irving, spoiler alert, when Irving was trying to kill Helly's Audi,
Yeah.
to get him to switch back, she was very close to dying and
Well,
never
not
switched
necessarily
back.
the Audi dying, but like the innie dying. Do you think that the Audi? Well,
No.
you know, I mean, there's a whole thing with Helly. Almost, well,
We already
Spoilers.
said spoiler alert. We're good. We spoiled so many of the things
yeah,
about
you're
the
right.
show at this point. Sorry, guys.
Well, this is early on. Helly tries to kill herself after. Sorry, that was blunt.
That was very blunt.
Basically, Helly wakes up, you know, in the
You can't just say, you got to say toaster bath. You can't say.
Shoot, dude, I forgot about that. I forgot this was
All right,
gonna
I'll
go on
remember the
YouTube.
timestamp. I got the timestamp. We'll take it. We'll believe that. We'll believe that. You can't just. So, Helly tries to commit toaster bath via.
Let me say it.
All right.
So basically, Helly tries to, you know, do a little toaster bath via a rope.
No water.
We can't be laughing about this, dude.
I'm just stuck on just how blunt you were with it. Just out of nowhere. I didn't even know. I really just caught me off guard.
Okay, all right.
So
Let's
continue.
start from here. All right, just cut all that out.
I'm not cutting it out.
Okay.
Just bleep it up.
Um.
Toaster bath, Helly.
Yeah. So Helly tries to commit toaster bath, with a rope, and yeah. So do you think that, like, as she was about to die, that her Audi came, you know, sort of like regained consciousness right before the moment of death?
No.
But how did that end up shaking out? Because like she didn't die,
She was going up the elevator.
and whenever the Audi came back out, then, you know, broke free.
She stopped the elevator and then toaster bath.
Yeah.
And somebody caught her, I think. I think it was the security guy. Or no, Mark figured out what was going on.
Yeah.
Somehow. And then like caught up to her and was like, Helly!
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I feel like if they actually experienced death in the show, then maybe it'd be different, you know, but they don't. They just stop remembering,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like, I mean, for the morals of the show itself, they kind of they don't treat the innies very well. But if they took on this view that we're taking, of it's the same person, it's just they have different memories.
Yeah.
Then I feel like you'd be more inclined to treat that person humanely, because it's like, okay, it's the same person, it's just their memories are different. You know,
I don't think they care because it's like
they can do whatever they want, and
no
they
one
won't
will ever
remember.
know.
Yeah, and
And
you're probably right.
That's
but-
why they're just like so unconscious with it. Like, whatever, dude. Like, I could treat you like dog shit and you can't do anything about it.
Yep.
Because as soon as the innie tries to quit, the Audi's like, fuck you, go back in there. Like,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, if you were working at Lumen and you were severed, you found out that your innie was being like verbally abused
I wouldn't
on the
care.
regular, would you be like, man, that's kind of messed up, I'm gonna quit?
I mean, like, is it messed up? Yes. Is it horrible? Yes. Have I experienced it? Yes. But if I could not remember any of it getting off work, I would choose that.
Yeah.
Because, again, I would think that because there is a weird stigma in the show where the Audi seems to also think that the innie is a different person.
Yeah. and like that person doesn't matter.
Yeah, which it seems like that's kind of how it's marketed and introduced in that world. It's like it's not even you; it's a different person. So they like, oh, who gives a shit? Like I can choose whatever happens to this person. But I would comprehend it as I do now, where it's like, no, it's just I don't remember it. Yeah. So yeah, I would be like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, like
as long as I don't.
It's not like you're putting. Well, I mean, in this perspective, it's not like you're putting somebody else through that. You're putting yourself through that, but you don't remember it, so it doesn't matter.
If I had to put myself through like torture and anguish and pain and lack of dignity for the sake of a good paycheck and housing and a vehicle, whatever, right?
But what if it came to where you get off of work and you experienced physical pain?
Then I'd start to be like, okay, I can't do it. Because then I'd actually have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So as long as I don't have to deal with the bullshit.
So basically, if they torture them early in the morning, that way, whenever they get off work, you won't feel it. You're okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they do torture them. But it's never physical. It's all psychological.
Yeah.
I would also get drunk every night. And then just show up.
Screw with your idiot.
They would just like, think that's normal. They'd be like,
well, in the show, they know about hangovers, though.
Yeah. So it would always be like, I'm hungover.
Yeah. Okay.
And that would just be their life. They wouldn't know what it's like always to not be hungover.
Dude, that's kind of messed up.
I mean, for the most part, Mark, really, that was all he knew.
Yeah.
Was he would just wake up feeling like shit.
Yep.
He'd be crying and shit. Oh.
Okay, I was gonna ask something, but I forgot.
You know what I think would be funny?
What?
Taking like a crazy heavy edible before going into work.
That would be hilarious.
So your innie is always just like completely
tripping.
Lost.
Yeah.
And that would be like, if you did it every time, the innie would never know what it's like to be like conscious.
Okay, do you think that they would get used to that? And then like after like 3 months of just always on an edible, then you just stop? And they're like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
Well, if I took it every single time,
yeah,
and then I went cold turkey,
yeah,
I would be sick outside, and the innie would be sick inside.
Yeah.
But also, I think once you got through the illness of it and the recovery of it, then the innie would be like even more confused because it's like, I
was just sick, and now everything's different.
Everything's what happened. What?
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I want them to start tapping into drugs because that's a funny concept to me.
Yeah,
it's like eyes super dilated, doing random shit for the entire day. And they're like, "What's going on?"
I never thought I was gonna wake up. Forgot.
Well, now that we're here towards the end of the episode and no one's listening.
Just you and me.
Just me and you.
You and I.
What do you think of the show?
I like the show
as a whole.
I think it's a really cool concept. I remember what I was going to say.
All right.
And this kind of ties in.
Okay.
Whenever I first started watching the show, the way I thought about it was, you remember that episode of Invincible where they're basically going into how the two blue alien dudes that clone each other?
Yeah.
Like how the cloning process works, and how, whenever they get cloned, the one that's being cloned doesn't know which body he's gonna wake up in. You know what I mean?
Okay. Like
he could wake up in this body or he could wake up in that body. Like it's like a 50-50 chance he doesn't know. And so it gets to the point where Robot, is wanting to insert his consciousness into Rex's, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a clone of Rex.
Yeah, it was a clone of Rex.
Yeah, but it was a 50-50 chance of like which one would get the crappy little slug body and which one would get the normal body, right?
Right.
And the one that got the slug body was just like, well, sorry, sucks for you.
Sorry about you.
Yeah, that's how I sort of initially understood the severance concept. Was like, okay, whenever you get severed, it's a 50-50 chance. Like you may wake up tomorrow and like after getting severed, and you're like, oh shoot, I'm the innie. And you can't do anything about it, And somebody else is the outie,
I think maybe the first time they did it, like immediately upon the severance.
Yeah.
But then after that, moving forward, it's just the same person.
So you think that it would be a 50-50 chance?
Well, I mean, if it was a 50-50, then like, outie Mark would be angry
Yeah. Well, and I guess
Mark
that
would be angry
once, that if it was a 50-50 chance, once you went into work, you wouldn't even remember undergoing the severance procedure, so it doesn't matter anyways. But that would scare me about the whole operation, because it's like, well, what if I wake up tomorrow as the innie and like that's it, but I wouldn't know about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that would be my sort of that would be what would stop me from doing the severance procedure. So
that's good. I'm glad that I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. For what reason?
I wouldn't do it. But you know what would be interesting? Would be like getting a job that pays like a crazy amount of money, but it's like shitty, like an oil rig job.
Yeah.
No offense if you work in an oil rig. But like my severed half worked at the oil rig. So like for 6 months, there was a part of me that worked at the oil rig, did whatever he wanted to. And then I would just like show up at the dock, get severed. And then when I come unsevered, it's like, cool, I worked 6 months, I guess. And now.
But I feel like that would kind of suck, because it's like your life would be wasting away 6 months at a time. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't.
Wow, so you're calling oil workers wasting their life?
No, because they experience it.
Are you saying
they experience it? But you would experience nothing for 6 months. Like you would do absolutely what your mind would do nothing for 6 months.
Yeah.
And you'd come back to your family. So you know what I mean?
I would come back.
It's like, but at least
with
if you're
a good fat paycheck.
Yeah, but at least if you're actually like conscious the whole time, it's like you're experiencing things and like you're learning and you're growing, you know?
Or I could just be a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
With a bunch of money.
Yes, you could. Or you could be just a normal piece of shit with a bunch of money.
What are you calling me? Are you calling me a piece of shit with money?
Hey, you called yourself a piece of shit.
I'm telling your mom.
I didn't say anything about money.
I'm telling your mom that you said that.
Do
piece of shit. You can't even keep a straight point. As soon as you say any,
yeah, I lose it.
Twice.
Yep. Thrice, actually.
Such a weird episode, I feel like.
Yeah. It was funny. There were some funny parts in there.
We really got, we really did drag it along, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
Look at us, huh?
We milked that cow, dude.
We milked the shit out of that cow. I'm still.
Think there's any more milk in the teat?
So, Mommy?
We haven't even gotten into that.
I don't think we will.
Yeah. Quite wise.
Mommy.
But yeah, so no, I like Severance. I think it's a good show.
Yeah, me too. I think canonically, Bert is going to hell.
Canonically, Bert. Sorry about it.
Irving also going to
hell. Yeah.
Bert's husband going to hell.
At least they can all be down there together.
Now, that's not me being a judgmental Christian. That's just based off of what context we're given in the show. So, don't take that the wrong way. Don't start attacking us now. All right, we're talking about a hypothetical here. All right, we're not getting into that.
It was introduced by the show.
We're not getting into that right now. We're just talking about Severance.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Good there?
Yeah, I'm good. Right. I think Severance is a good show.
Yeah. I mean, let me put it this way. It's very hard for me to get into TV shows, but Severance had me hooked from the first episode.
That's true.
I was immediately like, whoa, this is cool.
We caught up to it pretty quick, too.
We did, yeah.
We watched it quite a bit. So, we've answered the question, I think, pretty well. I think we got a pretty good it's based on what we got. I think we did had a pretty interesting conversation about it. I'm still stuck on the sex thing. I think that's
they wouldn't know how to do it.
Yeah, I just don't think it's like throwing a grown man with the mind of a middle schooler in a room with a woman who is also a grown woman with the mind of a middle schooler, in a sense that they don't know what the fuck's going on and they're just horny.
Yeah.
And they're telling them to go at it and just watch them figure it out. But in the show, they just know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
How did Mark know how to build a tent?
Well, because he had already been in a tent, remember?
That's true, he knows what a tent is.
And then so he was like, oh, I can just build the tent.
He can pitch a tent, too.
Pitch a tent?
Boner.
Is that what that means?
Penis. Yeah.
I don't know what that I didn't know that's what that meant.
It's like, when you're in your pants, makes a tent.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll have to use it.
You never heard that?
No.
You pitched a tent?
No, I've never heard that.
Comment down below if you've ever pitched a tent. Are there any other things about Severance that made you kind of question the gravity and the reality of, you were...
I don't think I have anything.
Because they don't really have to cook.
Yeah.
They know how to read. That's something.
Yeah, they know how to read.
They know how to read.
Do you think they would know how to cook though? Like if they were presented with pots and pans, do you think they'd know what to do?
I don't know if they'd be able to cook well. Because a lot of cooking is
but
recipes and remembering how to
Why do they know how to read, but they don't know how to have sex and how to cook?
Well, they know how to have sex.
Well, you said they don't.
I just don't think they would. But then again, yeah, they do know how to read. But how would they know how to read? Even that is like...
Yeah.
Because speaking... Okay, that makes sense. Because, a baby... That's how babies talk,
That'd be crazy if Severance was just it just made little baby people, like baby adults.
They all talked like babies. It was just subtitles.
That would be funny.
I would love that. Imagine them, the speech, where they're going to burn the words.
Yeah. But they all understand each other.
Now that's a show.
Yeah,
that's a Alexa, shut up. That's a show.
They didn't hear that.
That's a show right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be... I mean, dude, we could just make...
What if you severed a baby?
We can make a rip.
What would the baby do?
The baby wouldn't know.
The baby?
Because the baby doesn't have anything to go off of.
Do you think the little girl from the new season...
Yeah.
Do you think she was severed as a baby?
Oh.
Does she know how to read?
No, she's not severed at all. Because she... Yeah, I don't think she's severed at all.
We don't know. It hasn't been proven to us. But Mr. Milk Dick, he's...
Yeah.
He's
I kind of like his character, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's a monster. I hate him.
You hate Mr. Milk Dick?
Yeah, I don't like Mr. Milk Dick.
I like the character. I don't necessarily think that he's a good guy, but I like the character. You can like a character without affirming what they're doing.
Yes, I suppose.
It's I like the Green Goblin, but I recognize that he's evil.
That's good. Yeah.
So.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to this very interesting episode. Let us know. Let us know if you listened this long to the episode, if you actually enjoyed us talking about TV shows. We never really talk about that. We never really dived into the entertainment world. We only kind of go into different perspectives. But yeah, let us know. Let us know. It's I had fun. I had fun. Yep. We were really tired today, and I think we we still were able to fart out something good.
Yep.
Anyways, bye.
Well.
Bye.